Hey everybody, Dan here for Argo Comics, where we do not just make indie comics, we support the indie comic community. And as per usual, got a big stack of indie books here to go over. This is a whole video, not a review video. So it's just the books that I've picked up just to show you what I'm out there getting. As always, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and hit the like button, hit the bell to get notifications when new videos are coming up. Maybe perhaps I should be trying to hit some live videos. Um, just, doing a lot of packing up as I'm getting ready for a move. So that has been why it's been a little more sporadic content from myself. I'm still at it, still, getting constant communications with letterers, colorists, artists, in getting books produced. Still have regular content coming out at Antarctic Press at their Exciting Comics. We'll go over a couple of those issues. Their Exciting Comics title. I have Nature Man running in that, Big Ass Blues running in that, Sumo Boy running in that, and Weirdo running in that. So there's a good amount of content. I think just about every issue from 94 to 24, 94, issue 9 to issue 24. And they had so many submissions. They've been juggling around a lot, so I know 25 was solicited without content. I believe they have Nature Man continuing in 29. So at any rate, a lot of those titles will be eventually released full issue and Thunderzone titles. Speaking of which, in Thunderzone, we did have some releases. My own Junkyard Joe, okay, came out on Indie Planet. Indie Planet is books published by Kablam, which does a great job for printing. So I've always been using Kablam, then listing the books on Indie Planet. Again, Junkyard Joe is a Thunderzone comic. So Thunderzone is, I do have my Argo Comics imprint for my own titles. Thunderzone is a shared universe with some of mine and some other creators. I'm the writer. Sulu Radatoy is the artist and let's see here. Yeah, he's the artist, colorist, and letterer for the Junkyard Joe story. And we had a backup story with the Trials of Vulcan, written and lettered by Francisco Zamora, art by Martin Carmona, colors by Gabriel Roldan, and I was the editor of that. So Junkyard Joe, basically, now this might be lost on some people, but if you notice any of his inventions, because he is like a scientist inventor, is used from the junk, is created rather from the junk that's in the junkyard. So you might be able to see a video game console there, a boombox, old rotary phone, um, oil gun. So, I think people might just pick this up and think it's just like some sci-fi invention, especially if you're a quick comic reader, as many of us are, if you have a lot of books to get to. But yeah, if you break down Junkyard Joe's weapons, you might be able to see some tech of the past being used. And again, in his workshop, he kind of upgrades everything, and that's how he creates his weapons. Okay. So again, I had this occurring in the city of Columbus, Ohio. Some may recognize the Schwarzenegger statue that is outside of the Columbus Convention Center. Um, and actually, back in '89, I went to the first Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic, which at that point was bodybuilding and women's bodybuilding. They didn't have the whole fitness expo that they have now. Um, I competed in drug-free bodybuilding for many years, so I've always been into the bodybuilding scene. Um, Seems like a natural bodybuilding, muscular people, comic books, muscular people. There's some crossover there. All right. And then, as I said, Francisco has the Trials of Vulcan beginning, which reintroduces a public domain hero, Vulcan, and puts him into the Thunderzone universe. So again, Thunderzone, bunch of indie creators doing their own books, but sharing a universe. Now, because I have the move coming up, I have been packing a lot. So I actually had packed a couple of our new releases already. I don't have physical copies to show, but I pulled them up on the screen here to show you. We had two other books that came out. Okay, The Squad, which was in a Kickstarter, as was Supercross #1, but now we have Supercross #2. Okay, so we have both those releases that came out. Can actually show you something here. Okay, when you go to a book, almost any of the Thunderzone or my own Argo comics, okay, when you go to a book, okay, if you scroll up a bit where you can pick it to purchase, okay, there's a drop down menu, print on demand is a choice. So you hit that gray triangle downward over there, and then you're going to get digital option, print on demand option, but you also have printed cover B. So now if you click on that printed cover B, or you select it and hit done, that changes the listing to the other cover. Okay, so that's how you're going to be able to get to the other covers we have available for these books. Let me do the same thing for Supercross here. Okay, so Supercross #2, we have the standard cover. We're going to do the same thing. Go to printed cover B. Okay. So I selected printed cover B, and that brought up the other cover, okay, which featured the villain of the story. Okay, and actually in the listing, you can see we have Jerry Hines is the creator of the book. And then you have his creative team right there. Okay. Same thing with the squad. Okay, so you have Nigel Flood was the writer and creator of this. Dodi Eka was the artist. And Martin Dunn, Tony Brando, I believe, were the colorist. No, Martin Dunn did the inks. Tony Brando did the colors. Jerry Hines did the letters. So that's a creative team on that. Okay. Uh, the squad deals with heroes of Irish folklore and uh, let's see. Yeah, I mean, we have each of these books. You'll have an issue summary up top and the book concept below. You can freeze that if you want to give that a read. Okay. So Supercross has the same thing, whereas the squad is in Ireland, Supercross is in Singapore. Okay, so again, you'll have the issue summary at top and the book summary below. Okay, so what I do have a physical copy of, though, because it came out more recently, it was with the Junkyard Joe. Actually, I got Supercross #1 right here. Okay, so again, it's a Thunderzone title. You'll see some of these characters interact with Thunderzone characters. We have Thunderguard, a book in production, and a Singapore Sling, the female with the crescent. So she is in the Thunderguard book. D. Tomasek on the male hero there. He is makes like a cameo in his civilian identity in Thunderguard. So, but again, this was issue 1 and issue 2, also available both on Indie Planet, as is our other release that we had just recently, Subject Alpha. Okay. Jose Cruz did the story. Stas Yakimov did the art. Sergio Mora did the inks. Ernesto Lovera and Estera Salguero did the colors. And Francisco Zamora did the letters. Okay, so we have Subject Alpha, as with the other books. I usually give you an idea of what the art is like. Has a nice double page spread. Great traditional superhero style art in this one. Very cool stuff. And this is our first book that we also have. Okay, if you again clicking on the variant the way I showed you, we have a Spanish edition. Okay, Spanish language edition. Okay, Francisco Zamora did not letter that, so this is the original lettering that was done for the book. But you'll see that it is in Espanol. All right. So that's the other side of that. All right. As I was mentioning, Exciting Comics before, is Exciting Comics number 18, which actually has my own Sumo Boy on the cover. Okay. So Sumo Boy is the cover story for this. Okay. Antarctic Press, company that I've supported for over 30 years. Way back, I believe maybe it was Ninja High School Perfect Memory #1. Might have been the first one. I think it was like 85, maybe 86 that I came across that in a comic store. I think St. Mark's Comics in Manhattan. Fell in love with that and so many other of their titles. Uh, uh, They had a magazine. They had Benzine, which was mainly focusing on Ben Dunn's. He's a creative ninja high school, focusing on his creations. Gold Digger, of course, I always have on the Indie Monster Hall, being that I picked up that for so many years. Um, and then I've always been putting in credits for each of my chapters that are appearing in Exciting Comics. So I wrote the story. Okay, Alexander Coelho did the art. Colors Bruno Costa. Letters by myself on this one, but I was mistaken actually. See that straight arrow? The straight word balloon arrow? That's my lettering. See these curved arrows? That is not my lettering. I don't use curved arrows. And in actuality, due to this page, I thought I had lettered it all myself, but I had not. And that led to a couple typos that are in the curved bubbles. So unfortunately, couple typos in here, which I've already corrected. When I do collect it in full issue, you will have it remastered and re-edited. But along with my own Sumo Boy, you do get some other great stories in Exciting Comics. Fallen Justice, Nothing Man, Niobe. So we have some other stories that are appearing. So it's an anthology, full color. Ben Dunn's in charge of the book, so he keeps track that we do have good submissions coming in. There's some Nothing Man. Let's see. Oh, wait. Was that Nothing Man? No, that was Fallen Justice I just showed you. Here's Nothing Man. And Niobe is in the back. Okay, just to give you an example of what the art styles are of the books. It's kind of like a page that shows all those concepts. And while I'm at it, I do have Exciting Comics number 19. Let's see. Actually, I'm not in this one. We had Catgirl, Fallen Justice, Nothing Man, and Niobe. Okay, so I believe Catgirl is one of Ben Dunn's creations. Show it over there. Created by Ben Dunn, written by David Furr. Art by Jane Wen. There you go. Takes a little time for the camera to focus. So we had Exciting Comics 18 and 19. Again, from Antarctic Press. And also from Antarctic Press, which I had mentioned just before, Gold Digger, 286. They're up to number 286. Okay, people talk about some of these long-running comics. Fred Perry's doing the everything. Art, colors, writing, letters, the whole bit. And he's up to 286. I guess some people believe that, comics begin and end with the big two or maybe even the big five. But Antarctic Press, again, over 30 years of publication, and they have Gold Digger. I believe Fred Perry announced Gold Digger will end with 300. Um, he's done that full series from beginning to end, and also did like an animated movie that he drew himself. His work ethic is second to none, and again, it's Antarctic Press started out more towards a manga, and that's where Fred Perry's style goes. But it's beautiful work, and he's a top-notch talent that I'll be very interested to see what he does next. Also from Antarctic Press, we have Patriotica. Okay, number 2, Patriotica United, number 2. Story Ron Z, art Ario Murti, lettering Keith Perkins. It's been an interesting title. I picked up issue 1 because a friend of mine, who actually collaborated with many years ago on our first Argo Comics first publication, Argo Comics Anthology number 1, Luis 13. He had done the first issue of this book, so they have a new artist on number 2. Let's see. So Patriotica, actually I just haven't gotten around to reading it, but obviously kind of like a, patriotic superheroine. So again from Antarctic Press. I came across this Juice Man, Chicago's beefiest superhero. Now to me this style was a bit reminiscent of Eric Larson, and with good reason, in that the creator, writer, penciler, inker, Scott James, has done some work in Savage Dragon, actually. Okay? Which, I just saw this Juice Man, and I thought it looked great. I thought it had this Eric Larson style to it, and I even contacted him, Scott James. There's letters, Farron Delgado, editor Gavin Higginbotham. Contacted him for a cover, okay? I'm way behind on Savage Dragon, so I hadn't realized that he had actually done some work in the book. Just contacted him based on Juice Man, and we do have a cover, kind of like an homage cover to this cover, coming for Argo 5. But I think he does really exceptional work. Like I said, I showed you this splash page right here. Again, really nice work, and I'll look forward to giving this Juice Man a read. So I went all in on Juice Man. Okay, let's see what the name of the company is. Raised Rhino. Okay. I went all in and picked up number 2 and number 3. Could be a Viking or Thor type character that he's fighting in number 3 here. So Juice Man looks like a really great book. Let's just pop 3 open real quick. Again, we just like to show you art. Showed you male character, that's female character. And yeah, I mean, Scott James really does a fantastic job with the book. Let's see. Apparently an ad for another issue. Very cool. I thank him for his work on the cover. I look forward to getting that out in an issue of Argo 5. And actually, the Juice Man comics are up on eBay if anyone's interested in tracking those down. Now, we always get YEET Presents. Again, it's my only involvement in Patreon, really. Because it's a pretty simple, it's almost just like a subscription. I usually support comic artists through, just like I did with Scott James, commissioning covers or stories. So I'm constantly a patron of the arts in that respect. And YEET goes through Patreon, where you just get charged each time an issue comes out, and it gets mailed to you. Okay, that's a pretty cool cover here. So YEET Presents number 50. Okay, Cost of Paper Comics. At one point, they called themselves old guys who like old comics. There's a Black Fury in the corner there. Even though the skull's there, not to be confused with Black Terror. So I guess that's a kind of a public domain character. Perhaps this is another one. And talking about public domain, this issue is very cool in that we get the first chapter of Don Simpson's Victory, folks. Stardust versus Samson. Stardust is a public domain character, as is Samson. I think Stardust Hank Fletcher was the creator. Also made Phantoma. There's Phantoma up there, the skull face. So, kind of Don Simpson tackling the public domain. Oh, look at that. Here. You can see Black Fury in the background there. So, because public domain characters are public domain and somewhat popular right now, you do see a number of companies with different takes on these characters. You might even see one of these characters on the cover show up in my own public domain story of Nature Man, which has been running in Exciting Comics, as I mentioned. Yeah, Don Simpson, very popular for Megaton Man in the 80s and 90s. And he has a great I'm not going to say cartoonish style, just very stylized way of doing art. Very cool. Great artist, great work. Okay, sometimes he eats in color, sometimes black and white. This issue was color, which is great. Great. Here's the full. Oh, the full creative team for Victory, folks. Okay. That other cover story, it's a flip book. So you got this as that cover, that is that cover, and this story is actually Meet the Sentinels. Not to be confused with Rich Bernatovich's popular Sentinels. We got Meet the Sentinels. There's a sampling of that. Let's see if I see. Oh, I always like to, even if I'm not going to read out the credits, at least show them to you. That's not going to happen. Oh, trying to get the camera to focus in on it. Because it's tough to read the white on the black like that. Well, this will probably focus in better. There you go. Okay, Sentinels. Second City Sentinels. Okay, so yeah, Second City Sentinels. Just like Champions, the role-playing comic, I believe they called it something else because they couldn't call it Champions. Marvel had a Champions. Yeah, at some point we have the you have to flip it back over for the letters page, which is opposite another Don Simpson pinup. USA, Spirit of Old Glory. Okay, so very cool to have a new issue of YEET. I believe this was a Kickstarter. So it's in a bag. Gotta debag it. Okay, we had the rejects from Silverline. Okay, Silverline. Back in the day, I guess 80s, had published Cat and Mouse, Silver Storm. I think it was another book, Cyber Trash. Great books back then. Roland Mann, you see his name there, Mann, was in charge of it then, in charge of it now. Always putting out great stuff. So I backed that. Here are the credits. Okay. And oh, this is a Kickstarter exclusive edition. I did get it on Kickstarter. So the rejects, I love a good superhero team. So this looks like a wacky assortment of characters. Very cool. And it is a flip book with Sniper and Rook. Okay, John Metch III. Yep. There's a credits over here. He's been in charge of those characters for quite a long time. I have always enjoyed his work. So let's see. Those are Sniper and Rook. Actually, they made a stretch goal where they included an old edition of Sniper and Rook that I actually have already. So that's how long I've been following the book. It says 2009, but I was even buying Sniper and Rook before that when he had it almost like ash can size. And he had, actually, I guess before Bill had even done Sorority of Power, Bill Mass had been involved in this one, having done an issue as well of Sniper and Rook. It said here that he had done a cover, which I'll have to double check because usually I always get the Bill Mouse cover, and I don't have the Bill Mouse cover here. But I'm guessing I backed this one. But I'm a big collector of Bill's work. So perhaps I didn't see that option or I clicked on the wrong thing, most likely. Because again, Bill Mouse, one of my top 10 artists. And I'm lucky enough to collaborate with him for certain Argo Comics projects. We just got a new cover in for another book that I can't even announce. So always enjoy his stuff. This book made a stretch goal where we got a rejects bookmark, Sniper and Rook on the other side. All right. Let's see. I picked up this trade, Savage Hearts. Okay, basically I picked it up for the Jed Doherty art. Jed Doherty has been around for a while, doing fantastic work throughout a long career. Here's the credits for this book. Always just freeze them if you want to read the credits. Jed does fantastic work. A lot of his work seems to center around like sometimes these women warrior type characters, which somewhat muscular, which I'm not against. Obviously, I said I went to the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic, 89, a few other years. Female bodybuilding is nothing I've been opposed to. You know, I've always said you can have a good muscular body, bad muscular body, good ballerina body, bad ballerina body. I mean, any style of physique can be attractive or not, depending on, you know, your own specific taste, which we are allowed to have. Specific taste. You could have someone with bigger framed who's, you know, proportions are right. But again, that's up to a personal preference, and not to say that, you know, any particular physique is better than the other. Same thing with men, because we got muscular men in comics usually. And that's his style of doing that. So he knows his muscular anatomy, Jed Doherty. He does a great job with that. Okay. What is it? A female warrior, and is that a satyr? When you have a half man, half goat type thing? Do love mythology, but I may not have everything on the tip of my tongue. Speaking of Bill Mouse, we had this book that I bought for the Bill Mouse cover. Quintara Stone. Okay. I think, again, the Bill Mouse cover is what sold it to me. Not so sure of what the book is about. There's your credits. If you're looking to see what the interior art is about, it looks good. Trying to find a non-spoilery. Here's a double page. Give you an idea of the art style. Looks like a Knights of Malta or Knights of Templar type of thing going on there. That's from Keenspot. Pick up the pace a little bit. Supermassive from Image Comics. Must have read the solicit. Thought it looked good. Supermassive. There's a creators involved. So look at the art. Okay, about giant creatures. It might have been my friend Cameron who maybe mentioned this. No, someone mentioned it, and I thought it was looked pretty good. So, boom, Supermassive. Picked it up. Let's see, Wrong Earth, trapped on Team Planet. Okay, I first noticed Wrong Earth because of Jamal Eigel's involvement. He's the creator for this issue. Yeah, Walter Giovanni, I know he's a good artist, so that's probably after reading the solicit. Yeah, there you go. After reading the solicit, I probably thought this was a good pick. Ahoy Comics. I do have some, I know at least the initial Wrong Earth book that came out. Ant, creation of Mario Gully, who sold it off to Eric Larson. Eric Larson has now been putting it out. He put out issue 12, which wrapped up 1 through 11 that was done by Mario. Actually, Mario did a Argo 5 cover at some point. Yeah, Ant. We've been picking up all throughout. Spawn has been a guest star in this story. Eric Larson, if you know his Savage Dragon work, and you're kind of going to know what his art looks like. I've always liked it. Okay. That didn't show Ant, but well, it showed Ant's, I guess, other costume. Interestingly, this book has been coming out, I guess, in traditional and modern. So traditional, I guess, has kind of like a company bar across the top. I guess traditional means kind of like Marvel used to do. And then they have modern, which doesn't have that title bar across. I think it just has the image eye in the corner. There's Spawn on the cover. And number 4, solicitation. So Malcolm Dragon makes an appearance there. Always a book that I will pick up based in part of the work of Mario Gully. So I have those Mario Gully issues. I have to, again, catch up and just read everything straight through at some point. Astro City. Kurt Busiek. Yeah, it was, again, I don't have every Astro City thing. There's the credits. But every now and then, every now and again, I pick up, this was about like sidekicks or whatever. So every once in a while I pick up an issue based on the solicit sounding particularly interesting. And that is an Image comic as well, celebrating 30 years of Image Comics. All right. Now I got a couple trades. Okay, this is a Cosmos trade. I have all the issues, but I'm supporting Tony Cottrell. Picking up the trade as well. Bunch of indie characters appearing in Cosmos, including I saw some advanced art. We do have Shazarath of Argo 5 in a future issue. But this series has been kind of a big indie crossover. Let's see. Yeah, Tony always utilizes great artist, colorist, letterers. Actually, there was one issue of Argo 5 that I had one of his teams, Unit 0, do a cameo. He has Nigel Flood's Globalist up in that top panel. Okay, so he has been, as I said, bringing in other indie characters. This is like a whole globalist scene here. Okay, again, Nigel Flood's the one who brought us the squad over at Thunderzone. But he also has this globalist title. He has Celtic Clan. So again, I have these issues. What does this collect? Let me see which is the, got some origins in the back here. Trying to see which issue it collects. I guess 1 through 3.5. It seems like more issues. Is there a 0 that's in this maybe? I know it's issue 1. Let's see. I don't see where it says collects issue blah blah blah. But up to 3.5 I guess. Because it's a good sized book. I don't know which issues are in here. But Advent Comics. And lastly, we have this God Hates Astronauts. Okay, I backed it on Kickstarter, got a hardcover. I prefer trades, so here's a trade. I guess a hardcover will get to eBay. God Hates Astronauts. There's the credits right up here, Ryan Brown. He's the artist writer on this. Just a far out, crazy, wacky book that I love, love, love. Highest recommendation. Just pick up this compendium, you'll have it all. There's the Image Eye. He's been doing other projects as of late, but this has always been my favorite creation of his. It's tough to show you the art on this because I don't want to ruin the book. Just a random page showing you his art style, which he's had a number of. Crest Words was a big project from him. So if you know his art from there. But again, this is just a compendium, omnibus rather. The omnibus. Okay, so that's going to do it. That's the indie books for now. On the Monster Haul, again, please give a like, subscribe to the channel, and I will come back to show you what other indie books I've picked up and update you on what's going on with Argo Comics and Thunderzone and my contributions to exciting comics and Antarctic Press. Thanks a lot.